crosses of City View. On the outskirts of Greenville, South Carolina, nestled between the sprawling woods and the hushed whispers of a forgotten past, sat the old City View church. Its white paint had long peeled away, revealing weathered wood beneath. Outside, 3 ancient wooden crosses loomed like sentinels, old, gnarled, and cracked with age. The townsfolk whispered about those crosses, claiming they held back the darkness that clawed at the edges of City View. No one touched them. No one dared to disturb them. Except for Cody. Cody was 13 and bored, living in a shabby trailer on the outskirts of town. He often roamed the streets, inventing his own adventures to escape his monotonous life. But this time, his adventure took him to the City View Church. His friends dared him to steal the crosses. For a laugh, they said, "Imagine how crazy old Pastor Daniels would get." Cody hesitated for only a moment before he crept to the churchyard under the cover of twilight, wrenching the crosses from the ground. Each was lighter than he expected, as though hollow inside, but they left deep, dark holes in the earth. Cody hauled them into the woods and leaned them against a tree, planning to retrieve them later to show off his daring prank. That night, strange things began to happen. The first was the howling. At first, Cody thought it was just the wind, but the noise grew louder, deeper, almost guttural. His trailer rattled with each bellowing cry, and when he looked out the window, he swore he saw glowing, yellow eyes staring back at him from the tree line. The next day, the town was abuzz with murmurs. Mrs. Haney's dogs had gone missing. Then Mr. Carver claimed something clawed his door splinters. Pastor Daniels, usually a stoic figure, was frantic about wolves and demons. He referred to the crosses, warning that our sins have loosed them upon us. That night, Cody dreamt of the crosses. They stood against the trees where he'd left them. But now dark, shadowy figures crouched nearby, clawing at the bark. A deep, growling voice echoed in his mind. "Return them." He woke in a cold sweat, but when he checked in the woods behind his trailer, the crosses were no longer where he had left them. Panicking, Cody decided to confess, but as he prepared to head to the church, his mother burst into his room. "Something's in the woods," she whispered, her face pale as moonlight. The howling had returned, louder than before. The sound of heavy footfalls circled their trailer, and a foul, decaying stench seeped in through the cracks. Shadows moved just beyond the window, a grotesque shape, hulking and wolf-like, with jagged claws and glowing eyes. Cody didn't wait for morning. Grabbing a flashlight, he ran outside for his bike. He pedaled frantically back to the City View Church. The woods around him seemed alive, shifting and writhing. Low growls followed him, close enough that he felt hot breath on the back of his neck. When he reached the churchyard, the holes where the crosses had stood seemed impossibly deep, as though they tunneled straight into the earth's core. The air was thick, heavy with dread. Cody screamed into the darkness. "I'm sorry. I'll put them back." He turned from the direction he came, and to his horror, the shadows seemed to be carrying the crosses forward, clawed hands lifting the relics as if eager to see them restored. Cody grabbed one and stumbled to the first hole, shoving it into place. The howling intensified as he raced to the next. His hands trembled as he looked into the shadows, menacing yellow eyes, securing the second cross. Then he turned with the third. He could feel the shadow behind him. Breath hot, rancid, and too close. He didn't look back. He slammed the last cross into the ground and collapsed, his chest heaving as silence swallowed the night. When Cody woke, dawn bathed the churchyard in pale light. The woods were eerily still, and the crosses stood upright, their dark, gnarled wood glinting faintly in the morning sun. Back in town, Cody never spoke of what he had done, but his friends spread rumors, and he never returned to the City View Church again. When asked about the creatures, the people of Greenville will usually just say, "Don't be out in the woods at night." The three crosses remained, their ancient wood more foreboding than ever. Some nights people say they can hear faint howls drifting through the woods, a warning of what lingered just beyond the edge of the light. And though no one dared to touch the crosses again, the townsfolk never stopped wondering what would happen if they fell.